Hi, my name is Dorothy. A month ago, I turned 18 years old, and I celebrated my birthday in intensive care. No, don't think about it. I didn't do any stupid things when I came of age. I'm not one of those girls. Strange one in our family is my mom. Because of her, I almost died, and the reason for her terrible behavior still haunts me. Do your parents interfere in your life? My family consists of me and my mother, Tina, although it is strange to call it a family. Two strangers and completely different people. Despite that, visually, we are even similar. I never knew Dad. He was not married to Mom. I am the result of a holiday romance. I don't know why my mother left me, because only the nanny was engaged in me. Mom worked a lot and saw me extremely rarely. But now everything has changed. Mom now works online and almost never leaves home. She became completely different, and these changes scare me terribly. Mom said that we should catch up and finally become true friends. She asked me to call her Tina and started to spend all the time with me. We started listening to my favorite music together, watched the whole season 13 Reasons Why. Mom constantly asked me about school friends and boys. I didn't like it, but my mom kept getting close to me, and soon it crossed the line. First, she changed her hair, made it exactly like mine. Then she began to take my clothes and jewelry without permission. I quarreled with her and she apologized. And then she just bought the same clothes like mine. I was ashamed to appear in public with her. Mom looked like my twin sister, only 20 years older. Does it seem strange to you? Wait, this is just the beginning of the story. I decided to talk to my mother about that, but she was even offended. She said that she would decide on her own how to look. I stopped paying attention to my mom's tricks because something more interesting happened in my life. For 2 years, I carried a torch for Ethan. He is the main handsome boy at school. He plays baseball and sings in a local band. The body, like Apollo, or at least Justin Bieber. And he suddenly drew attention to me. We started dating. I was very happy, but then regretted this relationship. Once we were standing with Ethan near the school after classes. Mom had to pick me up to go shopping and to look for my prom dress. She was dressed like me again. She got out of the car and began to get acquainted with Ethan. I was so ashamed in front of him, but the main shame was ahead. Tina bent my ears about what a mom and pleasant guy Ethan was. It was like I didn't know what happiness I got. Mom said she wanted to get to know him better. Allegedly, she saw how much I had fallen in love and could do something stupid. And Mother wanted to check Ethan so that he wouldn't hurt me. I was totally against it. You never know what she would say to him. I was so afraid of losing Ethan. But my mother gave an ultimatum. Either Ethan came to us for dinner, or I would lose all my pocket money and the prom dress that I fell in love with in the store. I had no choice. At that time, I had no idea what my mom would do. I invited Ethan and warned, Mom could behave strangely. It's good that he is an understanding person. We went to this dinner together after the graduation rehearsal. Ethan bought Mom's favorite hydrangeas and was ready for everything. But on the threshold, we met me. Mom put on the same clothes as mine again. She made the same hairstyle. But Ethan stood firm and pretended not to notice anything. I waited for this performance to be ended, but Mom was only warming up. She immediately asked Ethan to call her Tina and to refer to her as you. She kissed him on the cheek during the meeting and gave him a tour around the house, lingering in her bedroom. At the table, my mother had the nerve to flirt with my boyfriend. She handed out compliments, giggled like a dummy, and then poured the sauce on his shirt on purpose. I know that she wanted to see his abs, which she was staring at the whole evening. My patience snapped. I walked Ethan to the door. I told my mother that our relationship was over. We are no longer friends, and she would no longer get into my personal life. And Mom started to take revenge on me. She stopped giving me pocket money. I took meals from home, did not go to the cinemas and cafes. Then my mother stopped buying me things, although the graduation was very close. I needed money for a dress and shoes. I would go with Ethan, with the star of the school. I should have been excellent, but my mother did not care. So I decided to earn money myself. I walked the dogs and delivered pizza in the evenings. Because of part-time jobs, I even missed school. I needed a substantial sum for graduation. Once I was delivering pizza not far from our house. I noticed someone else's car parked at our house. It seemed strange to me. I decided to check and paid dearly for this. I opened the door quietly and came into the house. My mother was not in the living room at her desk. During that time, she was usually busy with business. I started going up the stairs to the second floor. Someone was obviously in the house, but who? Suddenly, I heard strange moans from the bedroom. I was about to open the door, but I felt like someone pushed me in the back. I lost my balance and fell. I rolled down the stairs to the first floor. I could not see the attacker. And then everything went out. I woke up in a hospital. My whole body was aching. I looked up and saw my mother. I was scared of her expression, but she immediately hugged me and began to ask if I was all right. Mom said that thieves got into our house. I scared them off. But whose car was in our yard? Mom said that it seemed to me, and there was no car. I just hit my head hard when I fell. But I did not dream. I saw a car. I became afraid of Mom. She constantly looked at me and often went into my room without an invitation. I could not resist her because due to the fall, I broke my leg. I was transferred to homeschooling because of a fracture. There was no problem with this, but graduation was coming soon. Mom said that with such a foot, I can't go on the graduation and strictly forbidden that. But I have to go. My super boyfriend was waiting for me. I also worked hard and raised such money for the dress that I dreamed about. I would never miss graduation, but my mother made such a thing that it's scary to remember. We had a lot of fights with Mom about graduation. All our neighbors heard our screams. I didn't say anything to Ethan. At the very least, I would run away from home with a broken leg. I decided for the last time to talk to my mother and explain how important this day was for me. Mom burst into tears and said that she understood everything and would let me go. I was so glad, and my mother prepared some dinner before graduation to make peace. She poured me a glass of her favorite cherry juice to raise glasses in honor of such an important event. I took a few sips, and then everything was like a fog. I regained consciousness, in the trunk of a car. I opened my eyes and could not understand what was going on. My hands were tied. I tried to call for help, but there was a gag in my mouth. I started to sob and pray that someone would save me. I was so scared. I rolled over and started to kick in the hood. I heard the rude, "Shut up!" That was Mom's voice. She began to scream furiously. The car shook, and then I felt a strong push. I squeezed into the corner and curled up in a ball. The car was being thrown from side to side, and my mom's screams were getting further away. The car was going down. I was falling somewhere, and I couldn't remember the rest. In horror, I passed out, and it was over. I regained consciousness in the hospital. I could not move, but I was alive. The whole body was bandaged, and then an unfamiliar man appeared in front of my face. I was scared, but he quickly calmed me down. It was my father, and he was happy to finally meet me, despite such terrible circumstances. But now he will take care of me. It turned out that my mother knew perfectly well who my father was, but because of her own offense, she did not allow us to communicate. They worked together a long time ago, and then Dad told all the horror that happened to me. Mom put something in my wine and then stuffed me into the trunk. She pushed the car off a cliff and went to my graduation. Mom dressed up in my dress and came on the graduation celebration as if nothing had happened. Ethan was very surprised, but she claimed that I got sick and asked her to come instead of me. He began to dial me, but the phone was disconnected. It seemed suspicious to him. He reported to the police. I was found in the trunk of a car in a ravine on the outskirts of the town. I had serious injuries, but I survived. The police found my father and told him the news. My mother had something like schizophrenia. She wanted to be me. She wanted to be young and live my life, so she was sent to rehab for treatment. Now Dad is taking care of me, and Ethan comes to the hospital every day. I'm almost happy, only scared when I think about it. I'll be afraid of my own mother for the rest of my life. And your moms are trying to be closer to you? Trying